Hi everybody and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. My name is Eitan and today I will be showing you how to make it look like you shot some footage on a cell phone when really it was perfectly good footage. So let's get started. Okay, so right now I'm just using a composite as my footage, but yeah, I just threw a few fire layers on top of this footage I shot. But you can do it with anything. So I'm just, the only thing you need to do is pre-compose your footage. So I'm just going to pre-compose this. If it's just one shot, just pre-compose that. Okay, so the first thing we have to do now is get the aspect ratio about right. So press Ctrl D to duplicate your footage. Then press R for rotation and set it to 90 degrees. So what this does is this just flips it sideways. And sometimes when people are shooting video on a cell phone, they'll shoot it up and down. So that's basically, this is like turning the camera up and down. It's the same aspect rate. It's like it's taken from the same aspect ratio and just flipped around. So that's how we got that. And then make sure you're on this area here. Make sure that looks like that and not like that. And if it looks like that, press toggle switches and modes. And then you have that. So now set the track mat of the bottom one right here to alpha mat. And what that does is says that this top one, that's just a window. And you can now see the bottom footage through that window. So now you'll probably want to scale your bottom footage up just a little bit and move it over. So this is probably where we're going to want to start it. So now press P on your bottom footage for position and set a keyframe there. And say by the end you want it to be a, about 4 seconds is my footage. So by the course of that time, we'll sort of want to move it like over here. So it's like it's almost dollying past. Okay, that looks pretty good. So now that we have that, it's time to add some effects. So if you want, you can pre-compose this. If you want, you can do it on an adjustment layer, or you could just add the effects to the footage themselves to keep it pretty cleaned up. I'm going to pre-compose it again, but you really don't have to do this. Okay, so now I've pre-composed it again, and we just have our footage right here. So first we're going to play with the color. So go to color correction, and you can either use levels or curves, which I'm going to use. So first of all, you're going to want to up the contrast. And this makes it seem like it was shot on some sort of consumer camera. Just be careful with the fire. You don't want to extremely overexpose that. You don't want that to be too unrealistic. Okay. Now, play with the probably the green channel and just boost or lower that a little bit. You just want to make it seem like the white balance is off a little bit. So also bump the blue up a little more than it should be. So it seems like it's maybe not quite white balanced. And then the next thing we're going to do is add a camera lens blur. And this has to be applied to the footage itself. So let's just open back up that pre-comp and camera lens blur. Just drag that onto the bottom one. And check repeat edge pixels. So what we're going to do is make it seem like the camera has a hard time focusing. And you don't have to do this if you think cell phones focus perfectly, or yours does at least, or the footage you're like playing it with does. But I'm gonna make it seem like it just has to focus at the beginning. So over the course of like 8 frames, it'll just focus in. And then maybe like over here, set a keyframe, just make sure it's still at 0 at this point. And then up here, it'll go back up just a little bit and come back down like it's trying to focus on the fire but can't. And so we have that just a little blurry at times. And I think this is looking quite a bit like cell phone footage. So now let's go back to that pre-comp. And one thing you can do if you want, and this is also another optional step, is add a little vignette. So to do that, we're going to make a black solid. and just turn the footage off, and then click on that and drag down to the ellipse tool, and then just sort of draw a shape like that. Then turn the layer back on, press either inverted or make it subtract, and then you're going to want to feather this a lot, and that just softens the edges. And then go back to the mask properties, and just you can play with the expansion if your original shape wasn't quite perfect. So now you get something like this, and I might actually want to brighten that up a little bit. It's a little dark. So I'm going to go to this pre-comp and get exposure. Just bring this here, and just because it seems a little dark. We could have probably done that with the curves too, but okay. So this is starting to look a lot like cell phone video. It seems pretty realistic, and if there are any other little effects you want to add, you can always just like keyframe the curves adjustment, like it's trying to set the white balance, or the exposure, like it's trying to expose the shot. All sorts of stuff like that. Just make it seem like it's an automatic camera. So, thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I will try to get back to you. And if you have any ideas for future After Effects tutorials, please leave those there too, and I will, if I know how to do it, I'll try to make an After Effects tutorial on it. So, thank you for watching this video, and I hope you learned something.